Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ACC online session. I'm your host, Elizabeth Kapitanova, founder of Belarus IT Companies Club, and I'd like to introduce today's presenters, Дэниел Вольф and Сэм Розенстраух. Дэниel and Сэм will tell us about their product idea, Blueprint. This is an AI-powered interview plugin for agencies' websites. Blueprint is designed to help software development agencies close more inbound leads by leveraging artificial intelligence to lead the discovery process. This website plugin conducts product scoping and requirements gathering interviews with prospective clients directly on their website. Дэниel and Сэм will show us their prototype, and you can give them honest and direct feedback. You can ask your questions in chat or in person. You can press raise your hand button and talk with our presenters directly. So right now, I would like to transfer this streamline to Дэниel. Дэниel, please share your screen and start your demo.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll share my screen in a second, but I'd like to give a little bit of background about myself, and I'll let my co-founder Sam introduce himself as well. So my name is Дэниel. I'm a university student in the US. Last summer, I worked for a hedge fund in New York. And one of the things that I found was really interesting was that at this hedge fund, there was a big disconnect between their internal IT team and their trade execution team, which needed to build custom software for their hedge fund and for their trades. But the IT team was having issues on like Jira and Trello and managing the project because they were having issues with the product scoping and the requirements gathering because the team at the hedge fund was not technical, but the IT team was technical and they understood software. So I ended up speaking to a couple of software development agencies along with Sam. And what Sam and I found was that software development agencies can sometimes really struggle to get the requirements and then the product idea from the client. And I thought maybe there's a way to make this easier with natural language processing. And that's what we're going to show you guys today. Sam, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am a third-year college student in the US, along with Дэniel. Over the summer, I observed something similar to him working at a satellite company called Viasat. A lot of the software that they use caused a lot of disconnect internally, and it seemed that they were often trying to scramble to find good custom software for what they wanted to do. And so we thought that this AI tool would be a great addition to what a lot of agencies currently use to find inbound leads.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get, so the last thing before we get started, I'd like a volunteer. Somebody who's brave enough to tell us the agency that they work for or the IT team that they work for, and give me just give me the name of the agency so I can show you their website and how our product would work within it. Is anybody brave enough?
Yeah, Dmitry, you're most responsive attendee today. What's about you? Would you like to participate in this conversation in English? Oh, Dmitry can't. Okay, maybe somebody else. We found out that Victoria works in marketing department, but their website is not ready right now, but maybe Vladislava or Paulina can join to our conversation. Girls.
Hey, I can show
Oh, Sergey, thank you. Thank you so much. Could you please introduce yourself? Couple of words about your company, and we will continue our discussion about product idea of Дэniel and Sam.
Yeah, I have been in the business of outsourcing like from 2008, and our company is about 300 people all over the world. And recently we have like a branding, and my website is like simple.com.
Awesome.
Put into the chat so you can use it like use case for that.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
great.
I resent the correct link, interactive link. Yeah, you go through huge rebranding. Okay, Daniel.
Awesome. So here's, thank you, Sergey, for that. So I appreciate it. Here's the Simco website. This is very beautiful. I've seen some really nasty agency websites, so this is great. I'm going to show you how we can basically level up your inbound lead form, and how we can get your inbound leads to give you more information and more data about what they want to build before you even get started. So if you go to your contact us form, typically this is what almost every outsourcing and agency team has. It'll ask for name, email, phone number, company. It'll ask what sort of development they're interested in. And then they'll ask you to describe the idea. Sometimes they'll even get the ability to attach some, some schematics or some drawings or some UI. But this is typically how it works. And then somebody from your team will reach out to the person who contacted them, right? So this is what's interesting. We think that we can make this process a lot more fun and exciting for the client, and then also make the process a lot easier for you guys when you have to reach out to the client and you guys will already know what they want. And Sam and I are going to demo this. So Sam, would you like to introduce the first step here and how this works?
Yeah, sure thing. So this is just kind of an example of a potential use case of our product. So a while back, my friends and I had been getting interested in sports betting, and we're all kind of math people. So we were interested in using like real-time data to enable some specific strategies with sports betting. So this is an example of somebody who wants to develop a custom sports betting tool. And we'll just walk through a few of the initial steps that our tool will take you through.
Gotcha. Would you say this is like a product, idea, challenge, concept?
I'd call it a product.
Okay, cool. So let's get your name first.
Yes.
And then let's do, oh God, Sam at useblueprint.io.
Yep.
And then this is kind of the core part of our intake form is what problem, pain, or desire do you want your product to address? And so can you give me like a one sentence answer?
Yeah, sure. So the pain will be that real-time data on sports betting is hard to access affordably.
Okay, cool. And then who would you, if you were to build software to address this problem, who would be the person who uses it?
Yeah, so this would be for my customers.
Gotcha. So this section right here is basically intended to ask if they want to build an external product or if they want to build an internal tool. Awesome. And this is the really fun part. This is what we can do with our natural language processor is we can basically run a full product scoping and requirements interview right from the browser and right from this contact us form that you guys would have. So you guys could build our plugin into your website, and you would have the entire interview process run for you, and it will output basically a lead vetting and lead like overview based on what the client gives you. So the first thing that the interview always does, that our AI always asks if the user that is interacting with it has technical software or business terminology. Sam's a pretty experienced software developer, so I'll say on his behalf, I'm an experienced software developer. And we'll just run through a few example questions. We don't want to take the full interview. It takes about like 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll just give you a little bit of a taste of how it works. Let's dive into the project. Can you tell me more about the business and the industry it operates in?
Yeah, so why don't we go ahead and tell it that this is operating in the fintech industry.
Fintech. And then specific pain point, we want to make sports betting data more accessible, affordable, and actionable for retail bettors.
Yep.
So
And
this is a very basic. Yeah, go ahead.
You'll notice here, it's going to be asking me like probing questions more and more as the interview goes on. So it starts off getting like a very broad understanding of the project, and then it will kind of zoom in on more specifics.
It asks stuff about timeline and ideal launch date. And this is basically how the interviewer works. So we'll give you, so this is basically what the client would see. And then what you would see at the end of the process is you would see this kind of list of submitted projects, and you can sort them by timeline, budget, their industry, their location, and also how likely the client is to actually ultimately sign with your agency, which I think is part of probably our coolest feature. So we can do this, so this example of Sam's sports data access tool, this is what it would look like from your end. So you would first be able to see a summary of what the client wants. So you would be able to see basically a brief overview of what the client is looking to build. You'll also get a detailed request for proposal that includes a project overview, a scope of work, deliverables, timeline, budget, location. And then what we think would be really useful for you guys is the selection criteria in terms of what kind of agency the client is actually looking for. So the client wants experience in custom software development solutions for fintech, ability to design user-friendly interfaces, ability to handle large volumes of data, and able to give a good proposed timeline and budget. And then the other thing that we find really cool is our project insights tool that is able to basically analyze the entire interview transcript here. So this is a test run that I did with Sam, and see this interview is like super short, but it's able to get out a lot of information from the client. And then basically they can go and see, you can go and see and like what industry, the timeline, and you can sort by what we think is really important, which is how likely is the client to sign with an agency. And our AI will give a score out of from 1 to 20 on how likely it thinks that the client is to sign with an agency. And you can pursue leads based on this likelihood. And basically, if you have 100 leads that come in, or 20 leads that come in, let's say, and you don't want to take necessarily 20 meetings because that's going to be 20, 30-minute discovery calls. That's 10 hours out of your week, and you have to find ways to schedule them in. It may be across time zones, so it's not going to be super easy on behalf of you and your sales team. In this case, you'll know exactly what the client wants from our request for proposal output, and you're going to know what the client needs in terms of what kind of partner they're looking for. Then the AI also always gives 2 recommendations for how your agency can better sell their services and how you can be more likely to convert the lead. So you have this highlight your experience, show case studies of similar timeline and budget. And then the 2 factors that seem most important to the client, it also shows what the client is really cares about, and they care about affordability and time. And this is how it works. If the client attached any files, you can also access them down here. So our idea with this tool is basically save your BAs and your sales leads time and energy. Make sure that you can vet the most exciting and the highest paying projects, and make sure that you have an idea of what the client wants before you jump into the first discovery call. That's our plan. That's our idea, and this is what we want to build for you guys.
Okay, Daniel, thank you. Did you finish with the general part of your presentation?
Yeah, I'm open to questions both in English and in Russian. So.
Okay, colleagues, we will now take some time for questions. You can ask your questions in chat or ask them in person. Sergey, maybe you can add something. What do you think about this product idea? Is this possible to use in your work, for example?
I have 2 questions actually. So my first question is about what is the conversion rate of this chatbot? Did you measure, like, is it better than contact form, which is expected? And another issue which I see is that probably the client wants to know where is the final step of this interview, and with the client feedback form, he sees like 5 fields, or if he downloads a brief with the questions, he understands that he need to fill in like 3-4 pages, and he see all the questions from the beginning. Will not the chat conversation confuse the client and confuse the process, etc.? So my main concern, did you like test it? Did you measure the efficiency of this sales process? Will not it cut the conversion rate?
Gotcha. That's a great question. So this is our very first product. This is our minimum viable product, and we're basically hosting this meeting so that we can get responses from how you guys would feel about integrating this into your platform. We don't know yet what the conversion statistics look like. I think that it's going to be much more likely to convert based off of it's not the idea of the tool is not to convert the client on the spot. The idea of the tool is to basically tee up the entire process for your sales team, so your sales team will have an easier time converting. So let's say you're a salesperson or BA at your firm, and you're looking at like an inbound lead from the contact us form, and you see their company and you see their email, and then you reach out to them and you say, okay, hey, let's sit down, let's find a time to talk, right? That's going to be very different from, listen, we've worked with for example, for this example, we've worked with venture capital funds before. We've worked in terms of building deal databases before. We can show you our products. Let's hop on a call. So that's the idea, is to basically make it easier for your BAs to convert. We don't know what the statistics are for that yet, but we're very confident that the client experience will be much better if your BAs actually know what the client wants before they jump on the first discovery call. And then your question about how long the interview takes and what the process looks like on behalf of the client, that's a really great question. And we are working on ways to sort of deal with that. We're thinking about adding a progress bar for the interview. We'd like the client to know where they stand in terms of how long the process is. The amount of questions is not unlimited. The amount of questions is the interview is supposed to be short, and it takes every time that Sam and I have run it, it has taken us under 5 minutes or so to complete. So if your client is willing to chat with you for 5 minutes, that's really all that it takes. So yeah, the amount of questions is not unlimited. If you were to work with us in integrating this, we can limit the amount of questions, or we can limit the time that it takes in order to do this step.
Yeah, it usually will not take more than like 10 questions to fully scope out a project.
Yeah, we can show you examples. So for example, here's this one that I did. So this one I asked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. That's it. So it's a really quick and fast process, and it adapts based on how much detail you're giving it, and it will ask question. It will double down and ask questions in the place where the client is less specific, and it will pull back in the places where the client is more specific. Does it answer your question, Sergey? I think it's a really great question.
I just wanted to understand if you maybe have some results from some testing when you say that we are sure that something works better than the other stuff. Then it's very great to understand what are you relying on for the statement, for the argument. So it's kind of very important, and I think if you provide such information, such research, I would say it would convince people much much more.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Somebody else? Colleagues, do you have any questions? Where is your critics? We like to criticize everything in Russian, but let's try to do this in English. Or even in
Тоже можно
Russian.
на русском, если
Yeah,
честно.
because Daniel speaks Russian, so we can talk in Russian. I'm sure that 10 people which are here, they work in outsourcing business like several years, or maybe even 10. And you can see the weak places in this idea. So please let our presenters know it right now, because they spend time and energy developing this product. So they really need this honest and direct feedback. Коллеги, ваши комментарии. Поставьте лайки или дизлайки в чате. Дайте какую-то обратную связь. We got one like from Dmitry. By the way, Dmitry wrote that he has this similar product, which works pretty well. So maybe Daniel, Dmitry, you can discuss it like in person. By the way, colleagues, so you can experiment with this tool in your work. If you're interested, let me know, and I connect you directly with Daniel, and you can discuss possible collaboration in further developing this tool. Daniel.
Here's our contact information in case you guys are curious. So
yeah. Could you tell us what do you really want from this presentation? You want some feedback, and I remember you told me you're ready to collaborate with some company which would like
Absolutely.
to create this tool on their website. Sergey Galuza, maybe you are interested. I'm sure you have like marketing department. Maybe we can connect your marketing department with Daniel and Sam.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I can show them the presentation, and if they're interested, they will contact for sure.
I think that would be great. I think our idea is that we're basically a startup working with this product. We built this first iteration, this first version. Our goal is to get people to use it and people to try it out. And we'd be happy to work with you guys, with any of your agencies, and build it in for you guys for free and run it as a test case for a month. And we'll see how your clients enjoy it, how effective it is for your lead verification system, how much time it saves your BAs and your sales team. So if you're willing to experiment with us, and we'll do the first few months, like until we prove that it works for you guys, and until we prove that it adds value to your company, we'd be very happy to do it for free. So we'd be happy to work with you guys for free in terms of building the product and getting an iteration out. I think it would be best if you and your agencies have maybe 10 to 15 inbound leads, let's say a month, because that would really be helpful. I know a lot of you guys work based off of recommendations, and I know that's probably where a lot of your clients come from. But I think if you guys have a lot of inbound leads and you guys want help sorting through them, we'll be happy to build this for you guys for free. And we won't talk about pricing or anything like that until we know that it works. And like you said, Sergey, like if we believe in we believe in our product, but it's not enough to just believe. It's going to be great to have some data, and we'd be happy to work with you guys to make that to generate that data and test the product.
We'd also be very, very welcome to feedback that you guys have or any suggestions to make this better for your needs.
Thank you, colleagues. So it looks like we have covered all the bases. Thank you, Daniel and Sam. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you today. Right now, we can finish our English speaking official part. Katerina, you can stop our recording.